You know, they always think they're smarter than you, funnier than you, more important than you. And you let them. You gave them that space. You stood in the corner, didn't you? Smiling when they mocked you, laughing when their jokes cut too deep. You thought, maybe if I don't react, they'll stop. But they didn't. No, they kept pushing and prodding, testing the limits of your patience like a child poking a snake, too stupid to realize what's coiled beneath the surface. And you let it happen. But let me ask you this. When was the last time they bled for you? When was the last time they swallowed their pride for you? You don't remember, do you? Because they never did. That's the thing about people. They want to own you, control you, make you their little puppet. But when the strings snap, when you stand there cold and silent, staring through them like they're made of glass, they panic. Oh, they panic real good. Their pride, it cracks, splinters, and you don't have to lift a damn finger. That's power. You see, they wanted you to lose it, to scream, cry, beg, because that's what weak people do when they're cornered. They react. That's what they understand. A reaction is a gift to them, you see? It validates their existence, their pathetic need to feel bigger than they really are. But what did you do? You stayed quiet. Indifference, my friend, is a sharper blade than anger ever will be. You didn't just ignore them, you denied them. And that is what breaks their pride. Not your rage, not your tears, just the cold, unflinching realization that they mean nothing to you. You know what pride is, don't you? It's the armor fools wear to hide their emptiness. And when you stay indifferent, you show them just how hollow they are. It's like holding a mirror up to a ghost. They hate what they see. You ever notice how quiet they get after you stop playing their game? How their jokes dry up, their voices crack? Oh, they'll try to pretend it doesn't bother them, but you'll see it. The hesitation in their eyes, the way their hands fidget. That's fear. That's defeat. And you didn't even have to say a word. You're stronger than you think. You know that? But strength isn't about throwing punches or shouting louder than the rest. No, real strength is in the silence. It's in the way you stand tall when everything around you tries to break you. It's in the way you refuse to give them the reaction they crave. Here's the thing, no one tells you. The world isn't fair. It's not supposed to be. The strong don't win because they're right. They win because they adapt. And you've adapted. You've learned the hardest lesson of all, that sometimes the best way to win is not to fight, but to watch. Watch as they crumble under the weight of their own ego. You've seen it, haven't you? The way their confidence falters when you don't react. The way their smiles crack, their laughter fades. It's poetic, really. They spent so much time trying to break you, only to shatter themselves. You've got something they'll never have: control over your emotions, over your actions, over your damn life. And that terrifies them. Because deep down, they know they're weak. And weak people hate strength. They'll do anything to drag you down, to make you feel as small as they do. But you've shown them that their games don't work anymore. Let me tell you something, friend. The world doesn't reward the loud. It rewards the calculated. The ones who can see 10 steps ahead while everyone else is stumbling over their own feet. You've got that. I can see it in you. That quiet fire, that relentless drive. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. And that is what will destroy them. So let them talk. Let them laugh. Let them try to push you. Because every time you stay silent, every time you walk away without giving them the reaction they want, you're winning. You're showing them that their words mean nothing. That they mean nothing. And when the day comes that they finally break, when they come crawling back, begging for your attention, you'll smile. Not out of spite, not out of malice, but because you'll know that you won. Not by fighting, not by reacting, but by being better. Remember this. They pushed you to react, but your indifference, that is what broke their pride. And that is the kind of strength they'll never understand. But you're wondering, aren't you? What now? You've mastered the silence, perfected the art of indifference. But where do you go from here? Oh, I see it in your eyes. That burning question, that gnawing doubt. You're thinking, how do I keep going when the world doesn't care about people like me? Let me tell you something. Nobody's going to care. Not in the way you want them to. Not in the way you deserve. And that's your greatest weapon. Because when nobody cares, when you've got nothing left to lose, you become unstoppable. You see, they were banking on your need for validation. That's the game they play. They dangle their approval like a carrot on a stick, making you chase it, beg for it, bleed for it. But you stopped running. You tore down the illusion, saw the strings for what they are, and now you're free. Free. You hear me? Freedom scares people. It terrifies them. Because a free man, someone who doesn't need their approval, their applause, their fake little smiles, that man is dangerous. You're dangerous. Not because you're loud, or violent, or cruel, but because you don't play by their rules anymore. You've rewritten the script, and they can't stand it. Think about it. When was the last time someone truly saw you for who you are? Not for what you could do for them, not for how you made them feel, but for you. I'll bet it's been a long time, maybe never. But that's their loss, isn't it? Their blindness, their weakness. You want to know why they push you? Why they poke and prod and try to tear you down? Because they're scared of what you'll become if you ever realize your own strength. Scared that one day you'll stop doubting yourself. Scared that you'll wake up and see them for what they really are. Small, fragile, pretending to be more than they'll ever be. And that's the truth, isn't it? They hate you because you remind them of everything they're not. Your silence, it's not weakness, it's power, and they feel it. Oh, they feel it like a knife in the gut every time you walk away without giving them what they want. Every time you smile that cold, unbothered smile, you're showing them that you don't need them. And that, my friend, is the one thing they can't handle. You ever notice how the loudest people are the weakest? The ones who need everyone to see them, hear them, validate them. They're the ones who crumble the fastest. They put on this show, this performance, but it's all for nothing. The second you stop clapping, their world falls apart. But you don't need the applause. You don't need the audience. You're not performing for anyone anymore. And that's what sets you apart. That's what makes you dangerous. Let me give you a little secret. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Not anymore. The only person you need to impress is the one staring back at you in the mirror. And when you stop living for them, when you stop trying to meet their expectations, their standards, their shallow little definitions of success, you become something they can't control. They'll call you cold, heartless, arrogant. But that's just their fear talking. They'll try to drag you back down, try to make you feel like you're the problem, but you're not. They are. Their insecurities, their need for power, their pathetic little games. Do you know what they fear the most? Your potential, not the version of you they see now, but the version of you that doesn't care what they think. The version of you that doesn't flinch, doesn't react, doesn't fall apart when they throw their worst at you. That version of you, it's a nightmare they can't wake up from, and you're getting there. I can see it. Every time you choose silence over rage, every time you walk away instead of falling into their trap, you're becoming the person they fear, the person they'll never be. You don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your energy, not your pain. Let them choke on their own pride, drown in their own insecurities. You've got bigger things to focus on. Your goals, your dreams, your future. The world isn't going to hand you anything, but that's fine. You don't need handouts. You're going to take what's yours, piece by piece, step by step, until there's nothing left for them to take. And when you do, when you're standing at the top, looking down at all the people who tried to break you, you'll realize something. They didn't push you down. They pushed you up. Every insult, every laugh, every attempt to make you feel small, it all built you into something stronger, something they can't touch. They pushed you to react, but your indifference, that's what broke them. That's what shattered their pride, their illusions, their carefully constructed lies. And now you get to watch them crumble. Not out of revenge, not out of hate, but because you finally realized the truth. They never had power over you. They only had the illusion of it. Remember, the greatest victory is silence. The greatest strength is indifference. And the greatest revenge is living a life they can't touch. You think it's over, don't you? You think you've already won because you've learned to stay quiet, learned to watch as they unravel themselves. But let me tell you something. This game, it doesn't end. Oh no, my friend. This is just the beginning. Because the moment you rise, the moment you step out of the shadows, they'll come for you again. Harder this time, smarter. And you have to be ready. You see, they don't just want to break you. They want to erase you. You're a reminder of everything they'll never be. And people like that, they'll stop at nothing to tear you down. Not because they hate you, no. It's worse than that. They envy you. They envy your strength, your silence, your ability to hold it together when their world is falling apart. They envy the way you don't need them, the way you've built yourself up without their help. And envy is a dangerous thing. They'll try to pull you back into the mud. They'll whisper lies, twist the truth, paint you as the villain in their little story. But you know what the funny part is? You don't have to defend yourself. Not to them, not to anyone. Because the truth doesn't need a witness. It doesn't need validation. The truth just is. And the truth, my friend, is that you've already won the moment you stopped caring what they think. Think about it. Why do they need your reaction so badly? Why do they push and poke and prod, desperate to get a rise out of you? It's because they're powerless without it. Your reaction gives them purpose. It gives them control. And when you take that away, they have nothing. That's the secret they don't want you to know. They need you more than you'll ever need them. Their pride, their ego, their very identity, it's all tied to how you respond to them. And when you give them nothing, when you let their words fall into the void, like stones into an endless abyss, you're not just breaking them, you're erasing them. But here's the tricky part. Indifference isn't easy. It's not natural. Every instinct in your body wants to fight back, to prove them wrong, to show them that you're stronger, smarter, better. And you are. But proving it, that's where they trap you. Because the moment you engage, The moment you step into their little game, you've already lost. Even if you win, you lose. So don't play. Don't give them the satisfaction. Let them choke on their own words, drown in their own insecurity. You've got bigger things to focus on. You've got a future to build, a life to live. And trust me, nothing hurts them more than watching you succeed without them. You want revenge? You want to make them pay for everything they've done to you? Then listen closely, because I'm about to give you the only advice you'll ever need. Forget them. Forget their names, their faces, their words. Forget the way they made you feel, the way they tried to break you. Forget them and focus on yourself. Because every second you spend thinking about them, every ounce of energy you waste trying to prove them wrong, is energy you could be using to build your empire. And when you're standing at the top, when they're forced to look up at you, choking on their own bitterness, you'll realize something. They were never your enemy. They were just obstacles, tiny, insignificant obstacles in your path. And you crushed them without even trying. You got power in you, real power, the kind that can't be bought or stolen or faked. But power, it's nothing without control. And that's what this is all about, isn't it? Control over yourself, over your emotions, over your destiny. You've already taken the first step. You've learned to stay silent, to hold your ground, to let their words bounce off you like bullets off steel. But now it's time for the next step. It's time to rise. Not for them, not to prove anything, but for yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what you think of yourself, not what they think, not what the world thinks, just you. They pushed you to react, but your indifference broke their pride. And now you get to decide what happens next. You get to write the next chapter, build the life you deserve, become the person you were always meant to be. So go, build your empire, chase your dreams, and let them watch from the sidelines, powerless to stop you. Because that's the greatest revenge of all, living a life so full, so rich, so unstoppable, that they'll spend the rest of their miserable lives wishing they could be you. And you won't even notice they're there. Oh, you think you've heard it all? Think I've laid it all out for you? No. See, this isn't just about what you'll do next. It's about how you'll become next. Because who you are now, it's just a fraction of what you could be. And if you stop here, if you think indifference alone is enough, you'll miss it. The chance to become more than they ever imagined. You don't just want to break their pride, do you? You want to obliterate it. You want them to look at you and feel the kind of emptiness that eats away at their soul. You want them to wake up in the middle of the night, choking on regret, haunted by the shadow of the person they could never destroy. That kind of power, it doesn't come easy. It takes work, discipline, focus. You think silence is hard? Try building something out of the rubble they left you with. Try turning their insults, their laughter, their mockery into a foundation so unshakable that even an earthquake couldn't crack it. That's the challenge, that's the goal. And that's what you're going to do. Let me ask you something. When they hurt you, when they pushed you, mocked you, tore you apart, what did you do with all that pain? Did you bury it? Did you hide it away, hoping it would disappear? Or did you let it fester, let it rot inside you like poison? Most people, they run from their pain. They drown it in distractions, bury it under fake smiles and hollow laughter. But you're not most people, are you? You're smarter than that. You know that pain isn't the enemy. It's the fuel. It's the fire that keeps you going when everything else falls apart. So don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Embrace it. Let it burn. Let it carve you into something sharper, something harder, something indestructible. Because that pain, it's yours. They gave it to you, but they don't own it. You do. And now, it's time to use it. You want to know what separates the strong from the weak? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even intelligence. It's resilience. The ability to take every punch life throws at you, every betrayal, every failure, every heartbreak, and still get back up. Still keep fighting. Still keep moving forward. That's what they don't understand. They think strength is about being loud, being seen, being heard. But real strength is quiet. It's patient. It's the ability to endure, to persevere, to outlast everyone and everything. You've got that strength in you. I can see it. It's been there all along, waiting, growing, sharpening itself in the shadows. And now it's time to unleash it. You've already started. You've already taken the first step by refusing to play their game. But now, it's time for the next step. It's time to stop living in reaction to them and start living for yourself. You've got dreams, don't you? Goals, visions of the life you want to build, the person you want to become. But you've been holding back. You've been waiting for permission, waiting for the right moment, waiting for something or someone to tell you it's okay to start. Well, guess what? The moment is now. The permission is yours. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to give you what you want. You have to take it. You have to build it, piece by piece, brick by brick, until there's nothing left to stop you. They wanted you to stay small, to stay quiet, to stay in the shadows where they could control you. But you're going to take those shadows and turn them into your greatest weapon. You're going to become the kind of person they can't ignore. can't control, can't even comprehend. And when you do, when you're standing there, unshakable, unstoppable, untouchable, they'll realize the truth. That they didn't break you, they built you. That every insult, every laugh, every push was just another step on the path to your greatness. But don't do it for them. Don't do it to prove them wrong. Do it for you. Do it because you deserve it, because you've earned it, because you've already survived more than they ever could, and now it's time to thrive. They pushed you to react, but your indifference broke their pride. And now it's time to rise. Not as a victim, not as a survivor, but as a conqueror. Oh, you're still sitting there, aren't you? Still absorbing it all, turning it over in your head, trying to make sense of it. Good. That means you're listening. That means you're starting to understand. But don't mistake understanding for action. Knowing what you need to do, that's the easy part. Actually doing it, that's where the real work begins. Because the truth is, breaking their pride, outlasting their hate, becoming untouchable, it's not a one-time thing. It's not a moment. It's a choice you have to make every single day. A choice to rise above, to stay silent when they scream, to stand tall when they try to knock you down. And let me tell you, it's not going to be easy. Oh no, it's going to hurt. It's going to test you in ways you can't even imagine. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The pain, the struggle, it's all part of the process. Part of what makes you stronger, part of what makes you, you. You think you've suffered enough, don't you? You think you've paid your dues, earned your peace. But let me ask you this. Did you really survive? Or did you just endure? There's a difference, you know. Surviving is passive. It's just existing. But thriving is active. It's deliberate. It's choosing every single day to take the hand you were dealt and play it better than anyone else ever could. So tell me, are you just gonna survive? Or are you gonna thrive? They're counting on you to stay where you are, to settle for surviving, for getting by, for barely holding on. They're hoping that the silence you've mastered will turn into stagnation, that you'll stop there, satisfied with breaking their pride but never building your own. But you're smarter than that, aren't you? You know that silence is just the beginning, the foundation. And now it's time to build. Do you know what happens when you start building? When you take all that pain, all that anger, all that silence and turn it into action? You become unstoppable, unpredictable. And unpredictable people? They're dangerous. They're the ones who change the game, rewrite the rules, create something so powerful that the world has no choice but to take notice. You've got that in you. I can see it. The fire, the drive, the potential to be something they can't even comprehend. But potential is just potential until you act on it. So what are you waiting for? Permission? Validation? Approval? Let me tell you something. You don't need it. Not from them. Not from anyone. The only person who needs to believe in you is you. They'll call you selfish for putting yourself first, arrogant for not playing their games, ruthless for refusing to shrink yourself to fit their expectations. But here's the truth. They're not mad because you're changing. They're mad because you're not changing for them. Let them be mad. Let them rage. Let them talk. Because every word they spit, every insult they hurl, every petty little jab, they're all just proof that you're doing something right, that you're growing, that you're rising, that you're becoming the kind of person they'll never be able to touch. You've already broken their pride. You've already shown them that their words, their actions, their hate, it all means nothing to you. But now it's time to go further. To take that indifference and turn it into greatness. To build a life so extraordinary, so undeniable that they can't even imagine tearing it down. And here's the best part. You don't have to wait. You don't have to prepare. You're ready now. Every moment you've endured, every insult you've ignored, every battle you've fought, it's all led you to this point. You've got everything you need. The strength, the resilience, the fire. All that's left is the choice. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep sitting there, waiting for the world to give you permission? Or are you going to stand up, take what's yours, and show them all that you were never theirs to control? Because let me tell you something. They'll push you. They'll test you. They'll do everything they can to pull you back into their games. But you've already won the moment you stopped playing. The moment you chose indifference over rage, silence over chaos, action over reaction. And now it's time to take the next step, to rise, to thrive, to become something they can't even comprehend. Remember this, they pushed you to react, but your indifference broke their pride. And now it's time to rise so high, so fast, that they can't even see you anymore. Because that's how you win. Not by fighting, not by reacting, but by becoming something so much more.